G'day guys, how's it going? This isn't a beer vid, but it's basically a video on how to make kombucha. So seems to be coming back into trend again. I think it was trendy probably about 15, I don't know, 10 years ago or whatever. But yeah, it has some good qualities to it. You know, very good for the gut because it's I believe it's symbiotic. I think so. It helps to you know, balance out the pH in your stomach. So it's but essentially it's the easiest form of fermentation. So I'll run you through the process now. So what I've got in the jug is about a cup of brown sugar, white sugar doesn't matter, and about, what's that, four tea bags. You can use 5, whatever, but essentially what you're wanting to do is dissolve the sugar in hot water and allow the tea bags to steep. So I'll do that now. Give that a bit of a stir. Okay, so it's going to be far too hot to obviously start fermenting, so we need that to be brought down to room temperature. And I mean, you know, however long you let your tea bag steep for, that's the normal process for that. But providing that all the sugar's dissolved, yeah, you can leave that overnight if you really wanted to, if you're that patient. So I've got my fermentation vessel here. It's I'll give that a clean before I put the tea in there. But essentially what you need to do is put your dissolved sugar and tea liquid in your fermentation vessel. Add one of these strange looking things, which is called a SCOBY. So there's a whole collection of different SCOBYs there. So basically what happens in the process is you can actually cut a SCOBY in a quarter or half, or you know, coin size, whatever, and the souring process will take hold. And at the end of the fermentation process, you'll have a new SCOBY. That's why they're the same egg. And what you want to do with the SCOBY is just make sure it's stored in what's called like a starter. So at the end of each fermentation, I would, you know, take a little bit of the fermented liquid and put it back in my storage jar. One, so the SCOBY doesn't dry out, and that way, yeah, once so it doesn't dry out, and the other for it to be happy. I mean, it could be in water, but I mean, I would probably think that it would be a lot more happier in, you know, the fermentation liquid. So yeah, and basically, I mean, they'll continue to grow even by themselves. So you just need to, you know, keep a cloth, or you know, what's that called? Paper towel, just on the top, just with the rubber band, purely because you don't want midges getting in there. And basically, yeah, when you've had too much, or when you've got too many SCOBYs, yeah, you can give them away to friends. So just in sterilised jar with the starter liquid. There's about 2 in there. Job's right. Here's actually a Jun kombucha, which is green tea and honey, and I'm not too sure if you can pick that up, but it's pretty clear. It's not too bad. It's not too bad actually. So yeah, it's essentially green tea and honey, the same process. You know, dissolve the honey in the liquid, and I'm not too sure if you can see that, but that's the new SCOBY forming there. So just put the cloth back on the top, and away that goes. So that's been going for 3 days, I think, and I'm really happy with the colour of that. So that's good. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the vid. Brewery news. still brewing. I just haven't had enough time to do a video, unfortunately. So you know, as it's always the way, a few things get in the way. But these are basically the two beers that I made for last year's homebrew competition, which is in fact where I got this t-shirt from. So yeah, really happy with you know, my brewing at the moment. Seem to be getting closer and closer to, you know, the recipe final gravity, but more importantly, just, you know, enjoying brewing again. I think there was a little bit of a patch there where, you know, you sort of get frustrated and you don't really know if you're asking the right questions to certain people, or, you know, you just get frustrated because you're like, you know, following the recipe as you think it's right, but as it turns out it's not. So, you know, yeah, but back on the ball with brewing. So might do maybe not a Russian Imperial, but maybe like an oatmeal stout or an Irish stout next, and might even do a vid for it. Alright, this is the second part of the vid. I'm not too sure where I am. I'm just looking at the little mirror on the back of the frame there, so just to try and position myself as best as possible. Okay, so I'm just about to add SCOBY. Now, yeah, all you really need is a clean pair of tongs. If you really wanted to, you could even, you know, chop one of these SCOBY in half if you really wanted to. But I mean, I'm just gonna. This is how simple it is. Basically, just add this strange looking thing. You see all the layers. That's basically what's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 4 SCOBYs in one. That's just like a whole, you know, there's another little one down the bottom. So that's room temperature. It's not too hot, because otherwise if you put your SCOBY in when it's too hot, you're going to kill it. So I don't think I explained before, but a SCOBY stands for symbiotic collection of bacteria and yeast. That's why it's called a SCOBY. And because bacteria and the yeast are living things, if you put it in you know, too hot a liquid, you're going to kill it. Same as with beer, you know, all pretty straightforward. Yeah, so put that in there, upside down, whatever, however you describe it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the starter. Now, there is still some liquid at the bottom of that jar, so I'm not too concerned about that drying out, because as this one starts, like as I see, you know, bubbles fermenting will start to form on the top of the level of the liquid, I'll start spooning some off into there just to make sure that they're all happy again. So yeah, all you do basically from now, put a, you know, clean, dry tea towel on the top with a rubber band, and you're away. Generally let it ferment for about 7 to 10 days. I mean, I bottle it after 7. Then what I would normally do is take some like maybe frozen berries or any type of fruit. Just let that sit in, you know, water until the water changes colour, depending on the fruit, I guess. Because essentially what you're after is, so this is primary fermentation. In the secondary, you basically have where you would add the fruit. So yeah, I mean, as I said before, just steep it in some water until the water changes colour, and then as the tea is in the secondary with the sugars from the fruit, that'll carbonate. So just got to be careful to burp, you know, release the gas every like half a day sort of thing, otherwise you'll get an explosion, which happened the other week, and my girlfriend had to clean up the kitchen, so she wasn't too happy about that. But yeah, essentially it's fairly straightforward. It's really nothing difficult about this process at all. So give it a go. Yeah, if there's any tips or you think that I'm not doing it right, please let me know. So see you in the next vid. Cheers.